Is this the patch Worlds is gonna be on? Is this the patch just before Worlds? You went promos, that's fine, doesn't matter. I'll just win anyways. Welcome to next patch. What's coming up? So none of these changes are particularly aggressive, but we do want to make sure that some of the dominant outliers gets tapped down a bit, and some popular picks who have fallen out of favor to see some love. Because the stability of this patch is so important, we're holding back on deeper changes that we're still investigating, but we'll be revisiting those champions and items in the future patches. This world patch? Okay. We are also looking at Ornn. We micro-patched Ornn twice last patch and he's still struggling. We don't want to overbuff him, so are primarily focusing on his usability. But we're still monitoring player performance as perspective on main progress up the mastery curve. See you on the Rift. I think this information is good, right? I think it's really important because if people don't know that this is World's patch or the patch before Worlds, it doesn't matter. People are gonna think, why is there not more changes? One more change, maybe this is overpowered, blah blah, and all those things. So this is good. Azir R damage increase. So, how much damage does Azir do? Wait, I'm gonna pull up the wiki because I need to see the wiki, right, to actually figure out how strong this champion is. I think that's pretty important. So Azir's ultimate scales with 60% AP. Alright, got it. 6% AP. Got it. I think this is a good buff. I think it's good. I don't think Azir is overpowered. I think it's slightly underpowered actually. The only overpowered aspect of Azir is maybe his poke, which they're not buffing here. They're only buffing his damage in the straight up team fight, which he's kinda lacking anyways. I think it's a good buff. Azir is very fun to see in pro play. Haven't seen him for a while. He's a good champion. Maybe he'll see some more play. I still think he will be slightly underpowered, because the damage is only buffed in late game, right? It's 25 or 0 damage level 1. 25 damage at level 2 on the ultimate, and 150 damage at level 3, so it's mainly geared towards late game. It's not really gonna make him viable, I think. If we do see him play, that'll be awesome, it's a good buff, but I don't think it's enough. I think he needs a bit more, and I think the problem with Azir is also the meta game right now. The meta game is very geared towards engaging all the time. Cassiopeia. Twin Fang's high base damage is allowing Cassio to dip into defensive itemization while still pumping out glass cannon level damage in the early to mid game. If Cass wants to melt face, he should have to literally pay for it. Damn. So I hate playing as Cassiopeia. You sometimes see her in the top lane. I also sometimes play against in the mid lane. I think her damage is completely broken, especially in the early levels. Let's see what they did. Bonus damage versus poison targets. They nerfed it a little in the early game. I like that. But they also nerfed it in the late game. I don't think that's necessary. I think a late game is kind of fine. I actually prefer nerfing it even more early game and keeping the late game the same, right? Because I think the early game is the main problem with Cassie. She's really, really annoying to play against early game. She's a viable champ. She's a good champ, and as they said, they don't want to change too much. So it's a good nerf. She'll probably still be viable. She'll still be played. She's just slightly weaker. It will have an impact, but it's not gonna have a massive impact. Bonus ratio versus poison targets is higher ratio too, right? So she does even more damage late game to make up for the AP that she loses in the base stats. You get some more AP from the ability power, right? So it's not going to be a big difference late game. It's going to be a little early game actually. Didn't see this earlier. So Elise. I think right now we have the problem in League of Legends meta that you're playing tanks, a lot of tanks. Tanks in the top lane, tanks in the jungle, so a bunch of tanks in the support role as well. There's too many tanks. So Elise is a champion I don't want to see nerfed because the problem is that she's one of the few jungle champs that is not a tank, right? Like, if you think about it, what champions really play in the jungle that's not a tank? There's some Nidalee, there's Elise, I think Kayle had been played a few times, and there's like Kha'Zix, Olaf, and whatever. Those kind of champions. But Elise is like the one that regularly gets played, and that people play a lot. I think nerfing her, I do not like it. I think she was fine the way she was in pro play, because she wasn't played that insanely much. She was banned here and there, I know that. But she wasn't completely overpowered, and she could match with tanks, which was really nice to see. Her W gets nerfed by a tiny bit early game, quite a lot late game in base stats, and then again they buff the ability ratio, so now you actually have to buy offensive items on her to do as much damage as you did before, which means you have less item choices. I don't like this change at all. I really don't like it. I like having a lot of choices on champions. I don't think that she needs to be an AP hero. You could have a more tanky as she's built sometimes, right? And should be able to do the same damage he's doing. I don't like this change. I think it's overdoing it. It's a nerf on a champion that's viable, not completely overpowered, and she's very strong. She have strength and weakness, right? She's strong in early game, she's weak late game. I don't think she should be nerfed. The E also got nerfed a lot. I think the damage nerf is bad, and I think the repel nerf is kind of bad too, because I don't think 14 seconds cooldown is a problem. They basically just nerf the cooldown every single second she gets, or every single upgrade she gets 1 second less cooldown after this nerf, right? And I don't think that's good for her at all. It's not a good change. I don't see why Riot would nerf her. I fucking hate playing as Elise. She's annoying to play against, she's terrible to play against, she's really strong. She's good at ganking. As a top laner, you just hate this champion. She's good at diving too. But at the end of the day, I don't think she deserves the nerf, even if I hate her. Alright, let's look at Fiora. Back in patch 7.14 made some changes to curb some of Fiora's mobility, but those nerfs coincided with shift in the meta to leave the Grand Duelist in a rough spot. In a world where Bramswest didn't exist, forcing Fiora to reach her enemies and stick to them made sense. In a world with Bramswest, however, Fiora is dealing less damage. Opponents have more armor and sustaining less of vital procs Bramswest kills wounds, so that handicap no longer makes sense. We are reverting. I like this. I like the fact that Riot can make a mistake, can make a change to a champion and be like, you know what, this was bad. Let's just change it back. Let's just change it back. It's the easiest way to fix it, right? Change it back. I really dislike whenever a company makes a mistake, changes something, and they're just like, nah, we're just gonna change everything else now. For example, I think that happened to Aurelia kind of, right? They just changed so many things. So this is a very good change. I have nothing against it. It's good. They just reverted her back. I absolutely despise it. She's probably one of my top 2 or top 3 most hated champs in the game to play against, but it's a good change. I still don't really think we'll see her at Worlds. Maybe a couple of games here and there, because she is good against tanks. But tanks are just overpowered, so even if she's a good champion against tanks, she's not good enough, even though she's supposed to be. Alright, nah. Meaning our base health decreased. Ooh, that's interesting. 30 health, that's a lot. 30 health is so much. That's a whole auto attack almost, like half an auto attack, whatever. It's a lot. It can mean life or death very, very easily in the top lane. I think it's good. I think now it's completely overpowered. You can abuse him harder early game now, which means the champions that beat him early game can actually kill him and snowball the matchup. I just like this change. It's a really good change. It's not going to change that Nas played. He's still going to be played the same as he is right now. It's probably not going to matter in most games, but the game where you just barely manage to kill him, it's going to have a huge impact, because that kill is going to do a lot. So, good change. They nerfed the OP champion. I like it. I hope they nerf some of the tanks as well, like Cho'gath. That'd be very nice, but I think we're already G, so that's probably not going to happen, which is sad. Alright, back to next champion. Gragas is a very consistent, safe jungler who just does everything well. We want to remove some consistency, so we're making his clear a bit less healthy and making body slam more fair for opponents to dodge. Base stats armor decreased. I like that, no problem with it. I think it's a good nerf, because I don't think he's OP. I really don't think Gragas is... Well, I don't think Gragas' kit is OP. I think he's fine. I like the base armor reduction. Then let's see the E. Body slam. Collision detection radius. So I guess it's just smaller, right? It's just 30 range smaller. I think that's fine. No problem with that. Hitbot offset radius. I don't know what that means. Honestly, I legit don't know what that means. Indicate change to mark. I feel like... I don't think the body slam was a problem. I really don't think it was a problem. He was just too healthy all the time and could gank too much. I don't necessarily like this change, but I don't think it's going to have that massive of an impact. Because he's still equally fast. It's not really going to be a big problem. And you're going to mostly E-flash, like a lot of time you'll E-flash. So I guess this matters mostly in teamfight cases where you can hit multiple targets. And I think hitting multiple targets is a really big thing. So... And it's also skillful. Like if you can manage to hit multiple targets, it's skillful. I don't like this change. It's gonna have an impact for sure. It's gonna make him weaker, especially the armor reduction is gonna make him weaker in the jungle. I just don't think this is the change they had to do. I think they had to do different changes to him, like nerf his. I don't know. Nerf his cooldowns. Nerf something, you know. But I just don't think this is the change. This is not the change I want to see on him. I want to change cooldowns or something else. But Riot does what Riot does. It's gonna have an impact for sure. He's gonna maybe not be the #1 jungler. Like he's the top 3 jungler right now, right? He's one of the absolute best junglers. He did need a nerf. Maybe he falls out of that, but he's still gonna be viable. He will still be played at Worlds. I don't see a world where he's not played. He's gonna be played regardless. Ivern E explosion base damage and ratio increased. The problem I have with Ivern and champs like Ivern is I hate shields. I think shields are overpowered. Buffing his damage, no problem. I like it. It's a good change. Ivern hasn't played much. Buffing his damage is great. No problems with this. This is a good change. He's probably still not going to be played like this much. Ivern's not that good. He might be played a couple of games here and there. The chances are somewhat low. Unless it's a team that really likes Ivern. This is not going to make him a good champion for Worlds. Unless it's like a one-trick pony, somebody who practiced a lot, it's not going to be played. So we'll see what happens, right? But this is it's a minor buff. It's a minor buff. It's not going to change much. He's still not going to be good enough. But I think it's the right direction. It's a perfect buff. It's the right direction. It's small. They can do it again and again until he's balanced. And I like it. And then they can just nerf his shields too. That'd be great. Jarvan. This champion, I don't know what to think about him, right? Because I think Jarvan is really overpowered. He's really good in jungle. He's really good in the top lane. I don't mind the fact that he can play multiple lanes. I think that's awesome. The problem is just that he's slightly too strong. But even though I say Jarvan is too strong, there's so many champions right now that are too strong in my opinion, especially in the top lane, that he needs to be that strong to really be viable. So nerfing him is dangerous because you need to nerf so many other champions that he might just fall off. And as a top lane champion, it's very easy to just get clapped out of the meta. It's only a W nerf. The W nerf is 5 every time you... It's 5 per level basically. No, it's just flat 5. It's just flat 5 in total. So 5 less health. It's not a big deal. It's actually not that much. The bigger nerf is he's scaling on it. Bonus shield per champion is 1% less. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? So Jarvan's laning fit isn't the greatest. It's fine. It's not the greatest. His team fighting is really good. He's really tanking team fights. I think it's fine. I think it's a good buff actually. I think it's a good nerf. He gets into a team fight. He's strong. He still does the same thing. It's probably going to be 2% max half nerf in team fights because you get to shield off like 2 times, which is quite a lot, right? Like let's say you got 4k health, it's going to be 80% or 80 health, right? That's quite a lot. It's quite a big nerf. But I don't think it's a problem. I don't think this is a problem at all. I think it's a good nerf. Ryze is going the right direction. And I overall hate shields. So you guys know that I hate shields, so I like this nerf a lot. I like it. I just hope it's not too big, but it probably won't be. He should still be played at Worlds. He will still be in the top of picks. I don't see it changing much because I didn't change the base stats. I only changed the scaling, which is nice. Kalista. R cooldown increased. Is Kalista even that good of a champion right now? She's not, no. Like, I'm trying to think right now. In pro play, from what I know, Kalista doesn't really get played much. In recent times, like people play Tristana, Saya, Sivir, Kog'Maw, I guess. But they don't really play Tristana. Like, who plays Tristana? No, not Tristana, Kalista, sorry. I don't think she gets played much. I like the nerf. I think it's a good nerf. But I think it's the wrong timing. There's no reason to nerf her just before Worlds if she's not even played. In my opinion. Or maybe they should have nerfed this and given her a small buff as well on some of the other abilities. Because I think the ultimate is really broken. It's way too powerful. It needs a nerf. But she won't really be... Like, she'll definitely not be a high pick now. After that nerf. Because it's pretty big. It's 30 seconds on every... Like, it's just flat 30 seconds regardless of the level. So that's massive. Because it has... Wait, really? Oh shit, that's because she's banned every game then. Like, she's not picked much, but then she's just banned every game. Shit. Wait, let me check. I'm gonna check on my second monitor, I'll check. Alright, so... last week there's been... I'm just checking. Last week there's been... Like, I don't check all the bans and pick and ban phases. I just check the picks mostly. And I watch the games. Because pick and ban phase bores me right now because I don't need to watch it. Let me check. So, last week there's 45 games played. Kalista was played 2 games and banned 41 games. Alright, she's banned every game pretty much. She's overpowered as fuck. I guess. I was wrong here. She will still be picked and banned. You guys are right. I will take it in me. You guys are completely right. I'm wrong. Massive face one, but that's fine. I think it's still the right direction for the nerfs. Earlier I said it was the wrong timing, but I guess it's the perfect timing, so good job, right? Good that I'm not on the balancing team. Now, Lucian, let's look at Lucian. Lucian W shall increase at early ranks, decrease at rank 5. I think Lucian's too underpowered. Like, Lucian, I know for a fact he's not banned, and he's not played much in pro play. 100% I know that. He's not even played much in solo queue anymore. I think Lucian is a fine spot, but I think most other things are overpowered. Buffing him slightly with his shields is fine. Early game, buffing. I think it's kind of weird. It's like, Lucian's problem is his late game, right? It's not really the early game. But maybe this is gonna help him be strong in the early game to snowball harder. It's not gonna be a massive difference. It's like 15 health. It's gonna matter a tiny bit, but it's not gonna be massive. I think it's fine, but I don't understand why they're nerfing the late game. I'll just keep it the same late game and then nerf or buff the early game a little bit, if they want to do this. And I still don't think he's going to be played at Worlds much. You have to be so ridiculously good on Lucian to make him viable at a pro play. It is possible, it happens sometimes, but why would you play Lucian where you have to play so clean in comparison to a Gragas where you can make like 20 mistakes, right? And Lucian you're only allowed to make 1 or 2. So it's just not worth the risk of picking Lucian right now, and I don't think it's going to change because of the meta right now. Lucian. Lucian's Ryze risen to prominence as a go-to mid lane bully. We are increasing the windows of vulnerability he incurs by burning relentless pursuit offensively. If Lucian wants to dash into danger, he will have to shoot his way back out. I think it's good. Overall, Lucian is super annoying to play against. He's always jumping around. He's super annoying. I would actually like the late game one to be nerfed. 46 late game, I'd like that to be nerfed more. The early game I don't care too much about. But overall, it's a good change. He's really strong. I think it's fine that Lucian is a viable champion in the mid lane. Don't want to have a big problem with that, but he's really, really strong, and it's a good nerf. No problems with that. I just want to know what Riot wants to do with Lucian, right? Because right now, is he a mid laner or is he an AD carry? Because I feel like he's only really played as a mid laner. He's not that good as an AD carry anymore. So I want Riot to decide what they want him to do and try to balance him towards that. That'd be very nice. But I think it's cool that there's more viable strategies, and having an AD mid lane is no problem. It's all fine. And he'll probably still be playable at this point. Regardless of this nerf, he's still going to be played. Nautilus, Q mana cost no longer increases the rank up. Q now refunds half its mana cost in its terrain. So Nautilus used to be really broken because you could just spam your shit and you could just spam your shit, push, and do whatever you want. He does need a buff. Riot nerfed him too much. Other tanks got buffed, and Nautilus just got left in the dust. He was one of the most played top laners, and then he just died. I think it was sad because Nautilus was played in the jungle sometimes. He was playing the top lane, and he was playing support. There was a really balanced champ that was played everywhere. You just had to buff the other champs so they're as good as him. But they decided to nerf him too hard, which he didn't need. Let's see what the change is. So cost is a lot less than the Q. Hitting terrain also refunds half of. So basically, it's just a mana cost. It's good, but I do believe that he's not going to be played anyways. He's still not good enough. He's not going to win those trades. He's not going to be strong enough in the trades in the top lane 1v1s. So I don't think he's going to be viable just because he's not strong enough. Like, mana cost was an issue, but his damage and everything else is also an issue now because all the other top lanes are just stronger than him. Maybe we'll see him a game here and there if somebody really likes Nautilus. It is possible with this buff, but most likely not because he's still really bad. But there's a lot of bans, right? There's a lot of bans. So if somebody really targets top lane with a lot of bans, you might see him if you're lucky. If you're very lucky, you can see him. Nidalee's been out of the spotlight for a while now, and even teams would benefit from magic damage. Junglers are often overlooking her entirely. Haven't Nidalee been played from time to time? I don't know. I think Nidalee's been played recently, no? I remember a Nidalee game somewhere in... I don't remember where it was. Nidalee's been played in pro play very recently. I think it was this week even. I think she was played this week. What did they have? No, last week or this week. What else? Just played very recently for sure. But let's see the change. Minimum ratio, she's buffed in her E minimum ratio, and max ratio is buffed too. Let me think. Nidalee. I don't know what Nidalee is supposed to do as a champion. Like she's kind of fine and everything, but she's a poking assassin. I think the buff is fine. I don't really know what Nidalee is supposed to do or what Ryze wants her to do, so I can't really go in depth with what I think of this change. I think she needs a buff. It's a fine buff. Any buff is fine for me because I don't really know what to buff on her and what I would want her to do as a champion. So honestly, I just don't know. I just know she needs a buff. She got a buff, so that's nice. On. I think this champion could be good. Just nobody knows how to play him. I haven't played him myself yet. I've seen him sometimes where he did well. I've seen him sometimes where he did absolutely nothing. So Ornn's Masterberg upgrades are now locked until he reaches level 13. Why? Why is that locked? I don't really know. I don't see the point, but whatever, that's fine. Sonya's Hourglass can now be forced into Sonya's Paradox. Interesting. I just feel like these upgrades are kind of shit. I don't like the upgrades that much. I think it should be stronger, but whatever. So he gets some more health. His base stats. Oh, I like this. I love this. I really enjoy the fact that they're buffing his base stats is really nice because it's one of the easiest way to balance champions if he's too weak. Just buff his base stats up, and he's gonna be stronger. And this is very good base stats. 2 health regen is a massive buff. Health regen growth is massive. Attack speed growth is massive. This is really big buffs. It's massive buffs, to be honest. Mechanic Rupture spawn time, big buff as well. It spawns faster, right? Like it's 0.125 seconds. It's not insane, but 0.1 second pretty much. It's nice. W Whiff gets bigger. Flare, it's outside, huh? Also does a little extra. I guess it goes a little further, which is nice. W Stealth slows less. I haven't played him that much, so I don't really know how that works, but I just don't know how that works. I don't know how the stealth slow works. But I think you need a buff.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was.
Thanks for this. Thanks for the sub, Jamie. Or James. I'm not sure what I think about all these buffs because I like the base stats. This is great. The travel speed is fine, I guess. Like I think everything is fine. I'm not gonna complain about it because I haven't played it much. Ryze's probably done more research on this champ than I have. I honestly really hope we do not see him at Worlds though. I do not want to see this champ at Worlds because I haven't seen enough of him. I don't think people are playing enough against him. I think if he's in a game at Worlds, people won't really know what to do against him. Won't know how strong he is, and like legit, I don't think people know enough about him. So it's gonna be a coin flip to some extent if he's gonna be really good or bad. So I hope nobody picks him, but it could happen if he's not banned. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Rakan. So she gets a dash speed increase. What? Rakan has so much reliability in engage patterns, especially once he gets boosts and pops. The quickness or other move speed buff. We're toning down how quickly Grand Turns gets him into the thick of things to give opponents more time to act. Also be dialing back how easily Rakan hits multiple targets with the quickness to make him earn those spell engages. So I don't get it. Is the dash speed why it's 1800 to 2050? Like he gets less movement speed, but does he just jump further? I don't really know how this works. I assume he jumps further and then less movement speed. I'm not sure how this change works. I legit don't understand how this change works. I think she needs a nerf though, or Rakan is very overpowered. I don't like the champion. He can do everything. He can do everything, and I don't like that. He can do way too much things. It's like then Riot released Fresh in comparison to all the other supports, and this is just even worse. I think Fresh is at a good spot now though, but Rakan is completely broken in my eyes. I think he's absolutely disgusting, and he needs a lot of nerfs. I don't play Rakan. I've never played the champion. I know how he works. I know he's super annoying to play against. Everything he does is really frustrating. He's still gonna be viable Worlds after this nerf for sure. And I don't know if it's a massive nerf. Wait, let me see the ultimate. Collision detection ratios. That's huge. That's actually really big. The radius on the ultimate being small is really big. The cooldown being longer is not gonna make a big difference. I don't think that really matters much, because it's only then you level up, right? It's 120 seconds at level 1 anyways. And then it's 110, but you're only gonna have cooldown that time, right? So it's probably like 100. It's like probably 7 seconds at that point. And then later on it's probably like 14 seconds, you know. So it's not massive. It's not a massive nerf to the ultimate cooldown. I think it's good to nerf. It's a small nerf. They want to have it ready for Worlds. Anyways, sorry. So it's good that they don't touch him too much, because you don't want to over-nerf him and put him out of Worlds. He's still going to be played. He's still going to be very good. Probably still one of the best supports. Yeah, he's probably still going to be one of the best supports. Wait, let's say Rakan has 500 move speed with R, then he's double had a speed of 2300, and then that makes sense. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So this overall nerfs it. I get. So this overall nerfs it. I just didn't understand it properly, but it's because the percentage plus. Well, as I said already, I think nerfing is good. It's good. Then Rengar was at his peak. He was able to consistently one-shot squishies. Now that there's more viable tank support items that allow supports to mitigate burst damage, nice buff for example, there's less risk of Rengars running away with the game without being fed. As a result, it's safer to let him get to the mid game more consistently, so we're making his early less tough. I guess it's a good change. I don't like the way Rengar works at all. I think they need to rework Rengar again. It's a very stupid champion, especially because exhaust exists. Like, either they need to change how a lot of the things in the game works, for example exhaust, and a lot of other things, or they need to just change how Rengar works, because he doesn't really fit into it. Because right now either he one-shots somebody through an exhaust, or just one-shots people all the time, or he's gonna become very useless. And I don't think he's a very good champion at all with how League of Legends works right now. This is not gonna make him viable either. I think he's a bad champion. You're not gonna see him maybe in solo queue or see him a little bit more, but it's not gonna change much. It's just a tiny bit, and honestly, it's not gonna change him. It just won't. Yeah, and you probably won't see him at Worlds either. Ryze. This is a champion I like because he's difficult to play. He got a lot of potential to make a lot of cool plays. He can do a lot of different things with his abilities. He's just fun to watch. He's too weak right now, I'll agree on that. He needs a buff. I like the buff. A bit more damage on the W, nothing wrong with that. I don't know if there's enough. It's not that much of a buff, right? So, it's a pretty big buff. Like, if you got 100 AP, it's 40 more build. No, it's not 40. It's like 4 more build power, right? No, it's 40. Yeah, it's 40. It's quite a lot. I don't know. It's quite a big buff, actually. I don't think it'll make him viable, though. I don't think it'll make him viable, to be honest. Like, he's just the way he works right now. It's very hard to make Ryze viable. Especially because there's so many engaging tanks that can just shut him down. Like, there's so many tanks. Imagine the Cho'gath silencing him. He's not going to do much, so stunning him and then silencing him and then eating him. He can't do anything about that. Or knocking him into a wall, or then you have Maokai jumping in his face, his Shen taunting him. I think it's really, really hard to make him work right now. If you can, you have to be so good on him as well, because he's also very difficult to play. Maybe if you're really lucky, we'll see him at Worlds, but I don't know. I don't know how much I like this champion. I don't know. I legit don't know if this will help him to be seen at Worlds. I think it's a good buff. He needs a buff, but honestly, I'd rather have seen his buff and his Q, because it's a skill shot. I'd rather seen a buff on that, because it's harder to hit. I really don't think it's gonna matter much. Tristana's power is coming online a tad too early, especially high potential for successful trades during a laning phase has allowed her to dominate from early on, push towers faster, and get the ball rolling more often than she thought. So, Tristana's broken, just as Kalista, which I didn't know. Tristana's broken. I think a nerf on Tristana is very good. She does insane amount of damage. She's really annoying to play against. Let's see what the damage is like. It's not much, is it? It's two bonus attack damage. That's actually quite a lot in the late game. So it's nothing early games, only late game focused. And the first one, then 4 stack bombs is still nothing early games. All not late game, but every level, right? So like level 3 or 4, then every time you level it up. I think it's good, but I don't think it's a massive nerf. But I guess they don't want to nerf it too much, right? Because she's one of the most popular picks right now. She's really popular. She's picked almost every game. They don't want to nerf her because she's probably going to be played at Worlds, and Riot wants her to be played at Worlds because people have been practicing her a lot. So they're just trying to nerf her a little bit to see if we can get more champions seen in the AD carry role, which I kind of like. But I don't think it's enough to really change it. She's still gonna be one of the top 3 picks. She's still probably gonna be picked almost every game. It's the right direction though. They're just too careful here, maybe because it's so close to walls. It's too careful, and they should probably nerf it a little bit more. But we'll see what happens. I'm still pretty sure she'll be played almost every game. Then we have Rumble. Here what? A bit of subtle reinforcement for when Rumble's about to enter danger. So basically, if you're a bad player, you'll have an easier time seeing if Rumble's going to danger zone. I don't really think this is necessary. I think they already made Rumble too easy to play compared to what he was in the past. He was way harder to play in the past. I think Rumble's in a good spot. He's been consistently a viable pick for the last many seasons throughout different metas. Very good pick, very unique champion. I don't play him myself anymore. I used to. But I think it's great. They don't change him at all. I like that. He shouldn't be changed. And like whatever, they make him easier for bad players to play. It's not gonna matter. It's really not gonna change anything because good players already have that visual. They already know what's happening with their hit bars. It's never gonna change for them. So this is irrelevant for good players. This helps bad players a little bit, and that's fine. No problem with that. Enchantment Cinderhawk. They nerf it by 25 health. How much is 25 health? 25 health is like nothing. It's like nothing. It's not gonna do anything. If people buy Cinderhawk, they're still gonna buy Cinderhawk. It's legit gonna do absolutely nothing. If they think the item is overpowered, it's fine, nerf it by 25 health. But anybody who buys it will still buy it. It's irrelevant as well. It's not gonna change anything. That 25 health is never gonna change anything. Spell Thieves, it's lying. I think all the support items are absolutely fucking broken, but I think right now before Worlds this should probably not change them too much. Spell Thief, I might even buff Spell Thief just because coin is completely broken, or nerf coin, either of those two. Let's see what they do. So, Tribute pass after lasting a minion, Tribute change duration is paused for 8 seconds, so it's nerfed. But now Frostfang gives 10% cooldown. Wait, what? We haven't seen much of the Spell Thief lines since we made Arden's coin an actual appealing item earlier in season. Actually appealing or just completely broken. Thank you, Ryze, for not saying that you made an item completely broken, but no problem. This is less about the coin and more about Spell Thief. The line just isn't doing its job, enabling early aggression. We're moving the cooldown reduction of Frostfang's upgrades into Frostfang itself. I like that. I like that actually. I think it's good. Because now you can spam abilities more often and you can be more aggressive by having this item. It's not going to make a massive difference. But it's a nice upgrade, and it might make a difference, right? Like imagine you're just about to get a kill, you need one ability, it's coming off cooldown, and you just manage to get it off in time, right? That can make a massive difference, but in most cases it's not. So basically it does exactly what they want. It makes you build this in champs where you want to be aggressive and get those extra cooldowns in, right? Like when you all in somebody and all of those things. So I think this is really great. I think it's a really, really good buff. They're just trying to make it overpowered into coin. I think coin should have been nerfed instead, but if they're not nerfing coin, then this is the right direction, and it's great. And I like if you don't look at the numbers or anything, if you don't look at if it's overpowered, underpowered, I like the exact way they're buffing it. The numbers could maybe be tweaked differently, maybe something could be different or whatever, but the direction they're going is really nice. But the fact that they want this to be an aggressive item, they give it cooldown, they do so you can use more abilities and be more offensive with it. It's nice. Gragas Stoneplate. This item, I have a hate-love relationship with him. I buy it a lot on my channels. If you guys have watched my stream or anything, I buy this item all the time. I think it's absolutely broken, but it's an item that needs to be absolutely broken because top lane is not in a good spot right now without broken items. And this item got introduced to make top lanes viable. Because other roles, in my opinion, are overpowered. And now top lane is on the same level with the champions that you used this on. Good item. I don't think should be nerfed for Worlds. I don't want to know what they're doing with it. Wait, let me see. Making good on last patch promise, we got a set of change to mitigate Stoneplate's over synergizing with few specific abilities. Most important, Stoneplate now knows the difference between base health and bonus health. The total health grant is the same as before with 2 exceptions below, but Stoneplate will contribute far less to affect that scale of bonus health as a result of this change. Cho'gath Ultimate and Locket Shield being the 2 most notorious offenders here. I don't like that for Worlds. I think that was nice. I think that was nice. So it doesn't scale with Locket anymore. which means Stoneplate is a lot worse for team fights. Like you bought it, like for example, I bought a Jarvan and Rengar to combine with the Locket. That was a really big reason for me to buy it, because that was really broken. And obviously Cho'gath will buy it because he fucking eats people and they just go nom dead. I think it's a good change, but I don't know if those champs will be in a good spot if this is changed. I don't know how strong they'll be, because that was really important, I think. Once you got to the late game and got that Locket, that's what kept them being really, really broken and strong in the team fights, which they kind of needed to, because I think other roles are really, really strong at that point too. So I don't know what I think about this, especially the Locket. I don't care about the Cho'gath ultimate, that's fine. It's just mainly the Locket. I think you might see less Jarvan top lane because of this. It's very, very possible you might see a little bit less Jarvan. But a lot of games are decided before this point anyway, so it's not going to have a massive difference. But if you get to this point, it's going to nerf him by a lot. It's going to be a massive nerf to him. If you get to the point where he gets Locket and Gragas Stoneplate, which is the 4th item, right? So he needs to have 5 items, including boots. So most of the time it's not going to have an impact, but if you actually get to late game, it's going to have a massive, massive impact. But yeah, I think it's good that it nerfs Cho'gath. I think that's good. Now it's about cost decreased, health decreased. So basically remove 100 gold from the cost and remove 100 health. 100 health is a lot. That's worth way more than 100 gold. This got nerfed a lot. Why did they nerf the item so much? Support items are a lower price point than other tank items, so we can make them very gold efficient without making them appealing to other classes. So basically they're just trying to remove it from other people in the support, and they just want this to be a support item. I think it's kind of cool that tanks can have an item like this, like top lane or jungle tanks can have an item where it helps out the team as well. Like, isn't that the tank's job as well, to help out the teams, protect them, peel for them? I don't really feel like that should be a support's job necessarily. I don't like this change. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they have... It doesn't make any sense. It's not that big of... It is a big nerf, actually. It's a pretty big nerf. But it's not so big that people won't buy it anymore. But I just feel like it's the wrong direction to go in. I don't understand why Knight's Vow shouldn't necessarily be a support item. Oh, I never buy this item anyways. I'm an ego player, so it's no big deal to me. It's fine. But I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I think it's a bad reasoning, because they just want to nerf it so it's a support item. But they can do whatever, right? It's not a big deal. I don't buy it. You will probably see it less or worse, because it's quite big enough. 100 health is a lot. Especially on a tank, because it takes up an item slot, right? Item slots are really important. But it's not going to completely break it. It's not going to make so nobody buys it. People are still going to buy it. But I think it's a sad nerf. It's a sad nerf. Then Champs League, we're making a few visual changes. So this, like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Wait, what? Alright, let me do this again. We're making a few visual changes to Champs League in an effort to reduce dodge rates. The pick time is much larger and more pronounced, and it's now clear. Why would you make it more vicious to reduce dodge changes? Just punish dodging people more. Like, I dodged twice today. I did. I dodged one time because of 80 carry and I didn't want to play 80 carry. And then I dodged one time because I wanted to do this patch review. If I got punished more, I probably wouldn't dodge as much. Like, I don't dodge much. I'm a person who dodges very little. But people dodge because you don't get punished much. And people have realized that if you don't get punished for dodging, and you can climb an elo by dodging when you have a bad team, why wouldn't you do it? So if you have a bad team comp, or if you have flamers, and so on, people are dodging. And that's the problem. You need to punish dodging people more. And punish people being an idiot in Champs League. Basically, make a feature where you can report people in Champs League and there'll be no problem. I thought this would be not important, that's why I was like, whatever. But then I read the dodging thing and I had to read all of it. Retaining game modes don't matter, bug fixes, it's all gonna be good, and then upcoming skins is not gonna matter for Worlds. I hope you guys enjoyed the patch review, and peace out. Alright.